Is Pope Francis going to advocate his post and leave the Vatican? Nostradamus indicated that he might. The famed prophet made two huge predictions regarding the papacy and the potential for an abdication. One of these was about Benedict XVI, who was the first pontiff to resign or abdicate after 600 years. His resignation came under unusual circumstances, some believing that he was forced out. What few people knew is that Benedict's resignation was accompanied by a strange prophecy. Nostradamus penned it long ago, in the 16th century, and it was about Benedict. The conservative pontiff would, quote, flee Rome in December, when the great comet is seen in the daytime, unquote. This is intriguing because of how close it came to the truth. We now know that Benedict resigned privately to the College of Cardinals in December 2012, around the time that astronomers began photographing Comet Ison, one of the brightest comets ever recorded. But that is not all. There is more. Nostradamus penned another prophecy involving a potential resignation or abdication by a pope that would come after Benedict. A quatrain reads, quote, "The great star of the 7 days shall burn, so nakedly clear, like two suns appearing, the large dog all night howling, while the great pontiff shall change his territory," unquote. Some scholars believe this quatrain indicates that the last pope could leave his post, resign, or abdicate in the same way Benedict did. He will do it when a second sun rises in the sky, an ominous sign of the end times. Rumors are now circulating among Catholic inner circles that Francis is planning a resignation in his 3rd year of the papacy. These rumors were started by Francis himself, who confirmed that he believed his tenure would, indeed, be short. He said in one 2014 quote, "I try to think of my sins, my mistakes, and not be proud, because I know it will last only a short time, 2 or 3 years, and then I'll be off to the Father's house." And again in March of 2015, Francis said, quote, "2 have already passed. It's a somewhat strange sensation. I feel the Lord has placed me here for a short time," unquote. Francis also praised Benedict for resigning, saying that Benedict opens the door to other popes emeritus. While some have claimed that Francis is the final pope, there are others who disagree. They lay claim to the fact that another will come after him, and this will be the real Petrus Romanus. According to these scholars, Pope Francis is functioning in a role right now, not as Petrus Romanus, but as a placeholder until the emergence of the final pope. So what is Francis doing in his current role? He is moving the church towards the New World Order, and he is doing it rapidly.
There are many beautiful people in the Roman Catholic cult who are not wealthy. Some are even very poor, and who are not seeking for high position. Most are very humble. These common people are completely unaware of the wickedness that has been and is being committed by the Roman cult, which they have been told is a church. Because God knows their sincere hearts, He is the God of our heart. He says unto these ignorant people, "Come out of her, my people." Revelation 18:4. So let's pray they will soon. The Vatican and her people all deserve the Academy Award Oscar for the best performance of innocency and piety, and also for makeup and wardrobe design, making her outward appearance that of Snow White. Underneath her snow white outfit, there are running, festering sores and ringworm. On the outside, she smiles sweetly and says, "I love you, brother." But behind her bony back, she hides hands that drip with the blood of martyrs. The Vatican is posing as Snow White, but the Bible says that she's a prostitute, the great whore, a cult. Revelation 19:2. She uses government agency branches in every country, including the United States, as her vicious little dwarfs. The more power and control she gets in government, the more she will fade into the background in her snow white disguise, so that government will be used and blamed for all her evil deeds. Reason: to enforce laws that harass, malign, destroy, and censor everyone and every idea that is not Roman Catholic, so she can sit as the satanic queen, the big whore. Because of her age-old desire to control the world government and church, the serpent-like Vatican has infested the world and the U.S. government with so many of her zealous, highly trained, and dedicated Jesuit devotees that she now controls the United Nations, which she created, the White House, Congress, every state, federal, civic, and social government agency, including the U.S. Department of Labor, the IRS, the FBI, the Supreme Court, judicial systems, the armed forces, state, federal, and other police, also the international banking and Federal Reserve systems, called the Illuminati and Agentur, labor unions, the mafia, and most of the heavyweight news media. This cult, the Vatican, is very close to replacing our U.S. Constitution with her one-world satanic canon laws of death to the heretic, anyone who is not Roman Catholic. General Lafayette, President George Washington's most respected aide and general, prophetically stated, "If the liberties of the American people are ever destroyed, they will fall by the hand of the Roman Catholic cult's clergy." Today we see the climax of detailed plans given in excerpts from a speech given nearly 50 years ago in Australia by Roman Catholic Archbishop Gilroy. The Roman Catholic motto is "Ourselves alone for fellow Roman Catholics." We must defeat all heretics, non-Roman Catholics, at the ballot box. The Holy Father states that negative tactics are fatal. The demands of the Holy Father, the Pope, are that the public services should be 100% Roman Catholic soon. Care must be taken that no suspicion may be raised when Roman Catholics are secretly given more government jobs than Protestants, Jews, and other heretics.
Reinforced concrete by an architect that was known for building bunker-like public structures, indeed monuments, out of concrete. It was built in 1977, so it's really old. In fact, it's been around there for a long time. But my first lead that something was strange was this window, and I said, that looks like an eye. It looks like a serpent's eye. So I dug a little deeper, and when I saw the audience hall from the back, where the back audience was seated, it really did take my breath away, since what was revealed was this right here. That is a giant, massive reptilian face shaped into the direct architecture. Everything from the slits in the eyes to the scales to the fangs, there was no mistake about it. But what's behind this hinted symbolism? And what can we see or glean if we dig deeper? Well, number 4, look at where the Pope is seated. We see him here from the back of the hall, that he's in fact seated in the mouth of the serpent or reptilian, in the very mouth. This is symbolic of the Pope being the voice of the serpent, in fact speaking the serpent's words to the audience. This might well shake your faith, that is if you're a Catholic, which I was. I actually went to Catholic school myself and was an altar boy. But here you can see it in plain view. Clear symbolism, clear evidence that something here is extremely wrong. This image hasn't been photoshopped. This is real. This is built right into the architecture that was designed by those within the Pope's inner sanctum. But there is more symbolism. For this, though, we have to go outside. Number 3. Do you see anything strange here? You're looking at the hall itself. Do you see anything weird? Well, if you look carefully, it looks like the head of a giant snake. Can you see it now? In fact, it's almost unmistakable. You can see the snake's muzzle at the front and you can see its eye. It just looks like a snake. To me, this is yet more connective symbolism that what's going on inside matches the outside, because since here we can see serpentine architecture with ease. Number 2, let's head back inside and look at what the Pope himself sees. If the Pope is seated where he is, what does he see? Well, he sees a giant serpent with eyes once again. The audience is symbolic of almost the serpent's meal, and the Pope is not preaching to the audience under this symbolism, but the giant god-like reptilian creature himself. Why? Because this is what the Pope sees. Can you imagine that when they were designing this, that they designed this all by mistake? That this is some kind of high anomaly? No, because they spent literally years on the designs. They definitely would have known what the Pope would have seen from where he was actually speaking. Also, what the audience was seeing. So this is very strange and it raises some serious questions. What is going on in the hall? Number 1. But the biggest clue, the biggest symbolism that tells us something is really, really wrong here is in fact what is missing from the hall, not what is inside it. Do you know what that is? Here is a clue. Now, think of the heart of Christianity and think of what symbol it has and think of what you do not see in this hall. You do not see any of it. That's That's right, there is no Christian cross. There is no cross in the entire building, at least no large statue, wall hanging, or anything. There's no other real Christian symbolism either. There's no Virgin Mary, there's no Joseph the carpenter. There is indeed nothing anywhere. All of these symbols are missing. But you might say, what about that 10-ton bronze statue that's seated behind the Pope, where, as the Vatican states, Christ has been resurrected from a nuclear apocalypse or a nuclear bomb? To which I would say, this, I believe, is a direct corruption of symbolism. That is, they've taken the former Catholic symbolism of Jesus Christ, and they've displayed it in a corrupted manner, therefore corrupting its meaning. This is just not the way that you display Jesus Christ in any kind of Christianic religious order. You don't display Jesus Christ with massive wings on his back, rising up from an atomic apocalypse. You just don't do this. Look at representations of Christ from the past, just to compare. Take a look. Now you can see that there's just a huge vast difference here. Something is profoundly wrong. I mean, this statue, which weighs 10 tons, just looks like some massive thing, like a boss from some video game or something from some horror movie. You just don't display Christ like this. And also note in this, Christ appears to have massive wings on his back. Half of his face also looks like it's missing, like he's been heavily damaged by the blast. Is this really how you display Jesus Christ? Ask yourself that. You don't even have to be religious. Just look at history and compare. So what is happening? Well, I don't know, but I'm going to continue to dig. You can be sure of that. But I think that this is significant, and something really big has been revealed here. Something we've found at the end of this trail of breadcrumbs, which started at a small pizza shop a month ago and led us all the way to the Vatican. Anyway, go out there and decide for yourselves. I don't want to tell anyone what to believe. At the end of the day, you have to judge for yourself. It's really the only way to always stay objective and find the answers. In the meantime, please give the video a like if you did like it. That would help me out a great deal. And let me know, and others, what you think in the comment section. Share any leads you have. I think right now, at a time like this, it's important to stay informed and crowdsource our ideas. In the meantime, this is Ed from the other.